Confidence cocktails for video fame. Get your shot of courage and step up your game. Get known, liked, trusted, and business will fly. Let's shine online. Confidence cocktail. Ka-ching. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Confidence Cocktails. It is my distinct honor to have as our guest today Cami Baker, all the way from Boston, Mass. Woo-hoo. She is an international keynote speaker, a digital gypsy, and author of Mingle to Millions, the art and science of building business relationships and mastering referrals. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Which is why we're here together today. It's about building relationships and mastering referrals.
That's right. And how did we come together?
We met at an event, and this is a great lesson. You don't do business at the event. The fortune's in the follow-up, the follow-through. Stop stacking up the cards. Let's not be card collectors. Let's be business builders, which is what we're doing right now.
That's right. And in fact, we didn't even actually speak at the event, but I saw her like doing Facebook Lives, and
I heard her sing because she sang one of her pitches in a little group.
So we were like watching each other.
We were watching, or stalking.
And then after you stalk, what do you recommend in terms of follow-up?
Well, guess what? God actually created the phone to make a phone call. It's not just about Facebooking and texting and emailing and hiding. It's about talking and communicating with another human being. And that's exactly what we did. So we want to communicate, conversate, collaborate to create income, influence, and impact. Holla.
Hello! Ooh, ooh. Now for many of my viewers, and even for myself, honestly, sometimes I feel weird about just like picking up the phone and calling somebody I don't even know. And I know that sounds crazy because I'm an actress and I've done a million auditions, and that's really hard to do, but I've done it so many times that I got confident in it. But picking up the phone and calling people is not something I normally do. So how do you break out of that fear?
You know what, here's a great point, is when we're out networking, the event that we met at, there were hundreds of people there, and I know that a lot of them got 10s, 50, 100 cards. Getting that many cards is overwhelming. It's daunting. We didn't have a chance to build relationships. I only went home with about 10 cards, and I took yours specifically because we didn't have a long talk, but there was enough.
We met in the elevator.
There was enough juju that we exchanged business cards. So the trick is stop going around and taking cards off tables and grabbing all these cards. It is overwhelming. It gives us a false sense of security that we have leads, and what we have is a bunch of pieces of paper with phone numbers on them. So focus on the quality, not the quantity. And because we had just that little bit of conversation, I reached out. We had something to follow up about. So a lot of the times people don't follow up because they don't know what to say. Do they remember me? I don't really remember them. So when I get a business card, I'll write on it, she sang at the event, something that reminds me of that person or what we talked about. And that way when I follow up, I actually have something to talk about and something of value.
That is a huge takeaway. Quality and not quantity, because I am so guilty of business card overwhelm. I have a stack in a folder that I'm like, one day, as soon as I get my funnel together, I'm going to email this person. But by that time, they don't even remember who I am.
The first step to solving any problem is admitting we have the problem. So I appreciate your honesty, because most people are like, oh no, I love networking. Well, you may love meeting people, but...
And I do love meeting people.
And she does, right?
I do.
I've got another friend, just like you, very artistic, very creative, very outgoing.
I'll get like 90 cards after an event.
Very outgoing, but at the end of the day, calling someone, when you go on auditions, that's a little bit different. Like, you're playing a role, you've got lines to say.
Yeah, and they don't want you to call them afterwards. In fact, they're like, don't worry, we'll call you.
Don't call us, we'll call you. Hey, this is the opposite. Instead of don't call us, we'll call you. If you don't call them, you're never going to hear from them in networking. Yeah. So it's really important that somebody on a conference call I was on the other day was I don't know what came up about it, but she said booty call. When you're at an event and you talk to someone and you exchange cards.
You just see me perk up when she said booty call?
And so when you exchange cards and you never call, it's like you had a booty call. Don't be the booty call.
Don't be a booty call.
Don't be the booty call. Isn't that funny? God, I think that's so Don't be the booty call. Call her back. Call him back.
Call me back,
it's okay.
please.
Create that relationship.
Yeah, really. It's the worst. Okay, so let's move on to holiday parties. Okay, it is that time of year, people. And the one thing we don't want to do is go to holiday parties and be like, I'm going to meet 3 people from my business. You just want to show up and be in person and have fun, right? But there is an opportunity there. So how do you just be a fun person and not have like this hardcore business agenda, but still take advantage of holiday parties?
So we want to take the work out of networking, and we want to net play. We want to net play, trademarked, net play our way to success. And one of the ways to do that is to stop looking at people as leads. Don't look at people as leads. Plant your seeds. Plant your seeds. And so when we're out just being engaging, take the pressure off. When I go to an event, if I walk in there thinking, I got to get a contract signed, I got to sell a product, I got to get somebody to join my business, who can I shark in the room? Dun, 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 dun. What do you do? Dun, 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 dun. What can I sell to you? What can you buy from me? Da, 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 da. That is so unattractive. It is being in survival mode and scarcity mode and hunter mode, and they feel like the pro.
Don't be a predator.
Right. Don't make them feel like the prey. So take a step back. Take a deep breath and be intentional about how you're posturing, presenting, and packaging the product, which is you, in such a way that you're just attracting. So instead of being the shark sharking through the room, be the fisher person. Think about the fisher person who's sitting on the beach, on the edge of the river. They have something that is so alluring, that is so yummy, that is so attractive, that which they seek comes to them.
That's right.
Right? And when somebody's fishing, doesn't that which they want come to them? Yes. No, but when people are fishing, they're not running and sweating and chasing something. It comes to them. And so when we are being attractive, that's how we can take all that pressure off. And Facebook Live, holla, is a great way to do that, because when I go to an event, if I want to break the ice, I'll walk up to somebody and say, hey, have you done a Facebook Live yet?
Yes, I did the same thing.
And they will say no. 99.9% no. So it gives us a reason to break the ice. I get out my phone, I do a quick Facebook Live, I interview them a little bit, let them do a plug for their business or what have you. That breaks the ice, and it creates such a relationship with that person. So now when we follow up, they remember me.
Oh, heck yeah. I did the exact same thing. I take people, well, obviously we're going to be doing that because we both teach how to do Facebook Live. So, but I also do it just because it's my natural instinct to want to get people out of their comfort zone and to take action, even if they're afraid.
Yeah, and even if it's not that right off the bat for you, ask people something about, hey, what are you working on right now? What are you working on right now? People want to talk about themselves. They don't want to talk about the fact that they're a real estate agent or an attorney or something. When I walk up to someone and I say, hey, tell me something about you that has nothing to do with your work or where you're from. Here's what they do.
What a question.
They take a couple of seconds, they look up and around, which means that they're pondering and thinking and searching their brain, and then they grin a little bit and they tell you that which they really want to talk about. Well, I have 5 kids. Or, my wife's pregnant, we're having our 2nd kid. Or, well, I'm writing a book.
And you know what? I just did that to our principal at our school. He was so shocked that a parent came up to him and said, how's your life, Principal Jenkins?
Yeah.
He was like, nobody ever asks me that. Usually they're asking about their kid, or, he just being a person. And I think when people are being listened to, and if you honestly take a moment and breathe and listen to that person, connect with their emotions and their emotional needs in that moment, and really listen to them with your full presence, well, that's the fisherman on the dock. People just will come to you.
And the thing is, people need water, food, shelter, and connection with other people.
Connection.
They need the connection. And it's funny, when I do my events, I'll have people all stand up and I'll say, okay, go over to somebody you don't know and just open up your arms. Oh my God, I'm so glad you're here. It's so nice to finally meet you. And you give them a big hug, and people will look at me like, Are you serious? Like, you want me to go touch a stranger? But as soon as they start doing it, Michelle, as soon as they start doing it, you can't stop them. I have to say, okay, guys, come on, let's sit back down, because people need that connection. And they want to talk about themselves, and they want to be heard, and they want people to actually say, wow, nobody ever asks about me. So here's another thing about this. The book is The Art and Science of Building Business Relationships. Here's a little science for you. When you ask somebody, so they're going through the room and they're thinking, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? So first of all, it's just, you snap them back into reality when you say, tell me something about you that has nothing to do with what you do or where you're from. Now, instead of being in that trance of, I'm going to tell people what I do, I'm going, now it's, oh, wait a minute. Okay, now I'm present. Then they think about it, and when they smile and they say, well, I'm remodeling a car, or we just bought our first house, or whatever it is, they get a little bit of a dopamine and serotonin rush because we just help them to step into talking about something that they love, which makes them feel good. Therefore, they subconsciously think of feeling good associated with you.
And it also ties into the classic disruptor message in marketing, because when people look at things online, the messages that really disrupt their train of thought, something unexpected, immediately grabs their attention. So if somebody gets a question like an unnetworking question like that, like, tell me something that has nothing to do with what you do, it snaps them to attention, plus the fact that it's bringing out the need for them to connect with other human beings, and the fact that the dopamine rush, it's like a triple whammy.
And now you're creating a relationship, a rapport, so that when you follow up with, because now you're the one that knows they have 5 kids, or they just bought their new house, or they just started their business, or what, or they're taking a trip to Tahiti, or whatever it is. Now you can't follow up. It's so much fun to be able to attract. Dun dun dun. Stop sharking. Dun 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 dun. Don't shark people. Increase your credibility. Attract your clients and followers, and create the resources, the relationships, and the revenue that rock. Holla.
Holla! Thank you so much, Cami Baker, for coming today. Thank you so much for watching. And let's have one more confidence cocktail. We're going to put in our fisherman's presence.
Our good juju.
And attract our ideal clients.
Nice.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye, everybody.
Ka-ching.
Ka-ching.